everybody. Frank Bryant here with Insurasales. I'm sitting here with Commissioner Fowler from the Alabama Department of Insurance. Sorry.
That's okay.
And a little tongue-tied here. And I wanted to say, first off, thank you for coming to talk to us. Also, thank you for coming and participating in this event for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. It's fantastic. Thanks for the contribution and being here. It's been wonderful.
Well, it's been my pleasure to be here. What a great event. This is my first time to be here. And I'm so impressed with the crowd. I'm so impressed with the group that's here, with the silent auction that's right over there. I'm amazed at the bids that are coming in and the amount that's being raised for cystic fibrosis. What a great cause. And I'm impressed with Billy Hill, and it's my first time to get to meet him and his wonderful wife and all the people that are here. It's been a great experience for me, and I hope to be able to come back again and again. And so I've enjoyed it a lot.
It is wonderful. It is wonderful. And I mean, when you're talking about Billy Hill, he's one of the legends in the insurance industry. And a lot of times people out there, they don't see this side, of folks, right? They don't see the guys behind the curtains when it comes to insurance, but also what they do and they try to bring back and they try to have impactful stuff. I mean, the impact that you can have just in this room right here, being able to bring all these people to the table and actually say, hey, let's go ahead and give back. Most of these guys deal with Medicare.
Yeah.
These are kids we're talking about benefiting. It's not like they're helping out clients, at least not for another 40 years.
Well, there's a lot of insurance being discussed here today.
Right.
And there was a lot of insurance discussed the entire program, but these people are really here for Billy Hill, and they're really here for the Hill Country Classic and for what we're here to do.
Right.
So, whether we're talking insurance or whether we're talking football, everybody's enjoying themselves and everybody's contributing. And it's amazing to see this outpouring of support, and it just makes you want to come back and be a part of it.
It really is. And I personally like it because much like the real successful people in insurance, they're in it to help take care of people. Right. Just like it's regulators. You're there to help protect and take care of people. But I love coming to events like these because these are really a manifestation, a direct manifestation of we're going to give our money to help take care of people.
Right.
And especially because they're usually younger, it's a debilitating disease, it's a difficult one to deal with, and it really disproportionately affects children. It's something that it's just the right thing to do.
Anybody that's been a parent, anybody that's been a grandparent, you know how important that is. So you want to help out in a situation like that, and so it's a pleasure to be here to help. It's a pleasure to be a part of it. And we do. As regulators, our job is to take care of consumers. That's really the core of what we do. We try to take care of insurance consumers as regulators. We try to make sure that insurance companies can pay their claims and they're treating customers correctly. We try to make sure that rates are non-discriminatory and they're adequate and they're not too high, not too low.
Yeah.
So it's amazing how we try to make sure to do that. And so really that's the core of what we do, is to serve our constituents by making sure consumers are protected in the whole insurance process. The folks here are interested in selling insurance. Well, we're trying to make sure that when they do that, the consumers they sell to are protected.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's a collaborative and it's actual cooperative working relationship. If we're not doing that with the industry, we're not really doing our job at the same time while protecting consumers. So it's great to be able to work together with the folks that are here. It's great to be able to hear what all is happening here, what your company and other companies are involved in. So it's been a great learning experience for me.
Well, wonderful. I appreciate that. It really is a wonderful experience all around, especially learning experience. But tell me, is there anything that is piquing your interest right now in the industry or in your state as a whole, or anything that gets you excited about the prospects of what we're going to do going forward?
Well, I know you're in the health area, but in Alabama, especially this time of year, we're concerned about weather disasters and hurricanes and tornadoes and that sort of thing. We have a great program in Alabama called Strengthen Alabama Homes. It's one of the top priorities of our department. I know this is the PNC area, but if you live on the Gulf Coast, this is one of the most important things you think about during this time of year when you're having hurricane threats. There's several systems out in the Atlantic right now.
Right.
Now, I'm not sure any of those are going to come our way, but they might, or some might after that. And that's been a problem for decades in our area. In Alabama, we've taken a little different approach to this whole thing about the property insurance in that we've gone to pre-disaster mitigation. We have a program, I mentioned the name Strengthen Alabama Homes, which would make a grant to an Alabama resident of up to $10,000 to mitigate your home against storm damage.
Really?
And it's amazing. We've given over $40 million from the department to Alabama residents to mitigate over 4,000 homes in our state. And it's starting to make a real difference. You know, you never want a hurricane. But when Hurricane Sally came through a couple of years ago, the silver lining to the damage was that we had an awful lot of blue tarps, but there were a lot of black roofs if you looked at aerial photographs. And we've been able to verify that the fortified roofs performed as advertised. And we've been able to verify that those black roofs in those aerial photographs were fortified roofs, and many of them funded through grants from our program at our department. So I know you're in the health area, and a lot of folks here are, but you asked what some of our top priorities were, and that's really it in our state. So I'm thinking about this time of year. You have the commissioner from Mississippi, Commissioner Cheney here. You have the commissioner from Louisiana, Commissioner Donlan here. Those are what we're really thinking about right now this time of year, is to try to make sure that our insurance consumers are protected as these threats come through.
Well, it's such a good concept because, I mean, even in my time in the Marine Corps taught me an ounce of sweat prevents a gallon of blood, or an ounce of prevention prevents a pound of pain, you know? And it sounds like that's the perfect realization of that.
It really is. You know, those folks that I mentioned a minute ago who have those fortified roofs, who did not suffer damage from Hurricane Sally, those are people who stayed in their home.
Right.
They weren't displaced. They worked for businesses whose employees were able to come back to work. Cities did not have, towns in South Alabama didn't have as much damage to clean up.
And claims were lower.
Claims were lower.
Premiums are lower.
Premiums are lower. The whole thing is a cascading effect. When the storms are going to come.
Right.
There's no way we can stop the storms. Storms are going to come. The way you affect the market is to change the economics of what happens when the storm hits. And that's what we're trying to do in that program.
No one has that conversation though. No one explains it just like you did.
Yeah.
And I think we need more of that. And I think we need more of that because that right there, that's a logical progression that anybody, even an insurance layperson, a damage person, or layperson, anyone can understand that.
Yeah.
But we don't go into that detail, or we don't put it like that usually. And I think that we're at a detriment as a whole for it because we don't see these programs that are actually saving us a lot of money.
You know, it's not really in our wheelhouse as an insurance department, but we've made it in our wheelhouse in Alabama to try to go out and do this with this program. We've had great success.
Right.
IBHS, who we work with, is the Insurance Institute for Business and Home Safety. Between IBHS, new building codes in South Alabama, and the Strengthen Alabama Homes program, we have some 30,000 homes in Alabama that have been fortified to IBHS standards, and it's making a difference in the market.
It's dropping premium, making sure everyone has more money to go do what they want. That's fantastic.
Well, not just that, it's less money out of pocket for damage, less money out of pocket for cleanup. They're not displaced from their homes. They're not spending nights in hotels 100 miles away.
Saves you time.
Right.
So you can get back to work and get back to the business of taking care of your family.
Yeah.
All that great stuff.
So these are some of the things we're putting a lot of priority on in Alabama. We're also spending a lot of time talking to industry, talking to agents, trying to make sure they understand we're approachable.
Yeah.
And trying to seem not so, where we can kind of break down the separation between regulator and regulated community.
Right.
And make sure we understand that it helps us all when we're talking. So we're trying to do a lot of that in Alabama as well, by talking to the regulated community, talking to the agents, talking to the Big I, talking to our wind pool, and opening the department up and saying, we have doors, we have emails, we have telephones, use them.
Right.
So.
Well, and that's one of the good things. I'm glad that outreach is happening because for the agent level, for the guy out in the field, there's not a whole lot of communication
Right.
to him. And I really appreciate the fact that you guys are making that effort because I know that coming up as an agent myself, I'll tell you right now, like I said earlier, this is my first time ever being in the presence of really anyone from the Department of Insurance.
Wow, that's amazing because our doors are open every day, and so we have people visit, but it's not that we're trying to get people to come in all the time, but it's just that we're trying to let folks know, that especially the regulated community, that if you really want to know what's happening in the department, if you will help us, we'll help each other do our jobs better if we're talking. So it's really not much more complicated than that. It's a pretty simple concept, and that's what we're trying to spend a lot of time with in Alabama.
I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. And I got to tell you, this has dispelled the notion, and this event tonight has dispelled the notion I've had about generally all regulations and regulators for a long time. And I think that the things that you're doing are fantastic. And the way that you guys are outreaching to agents and the people that are conducting the business of insurance, but also the added value that you bring to the community in trying to assist in making reasonable steps to keep costs down and save consumers money and protect them.
Yeah.
I just find that so. It's actually really uplifting. It makes me have a better, positive outlook on everything in general.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's something we're spending a lot of time with. Now, we are regulators. We have a job to do.
I get you.
There are times when we have to be tough, and there are times when we have to do things with it that's not fun. But that's part of our job too. But at the same
necessary.
time,
it is absolutely necessary, because bad actors in any market ruin my job and make my job harder. So
that's
thank
right.
you.
So, the guys that are doing things right, I hope we'll appreciate when we have to be tough to the bad actors.
Oh yeah, because that makes those guys being out there makes my job harder.
Yeah.
Because people that go around and they conduct themselves poorly in a very professional and regulated market, what they do is they make the consumer more difficult to approach. Right. They will invite more strict regulation as a result of their bad actions. So my view is that if you're not a good actor in the place that I work at, because I have my stuff locked down, then you need to get out, because you're going to make my job harder, and I don't like that.
Well, we'd like for everybody to do things right.
Right.
But they don't always do that.
That's true.
And we have to do the job we have to do when that time comes. But for the most part, we think we can do a much better job if we're all talking and trying to communicate better.
Well, and that's one of the reasons I was very surprised and appreciative of the effort that y'all have taken coming down here to speak to us.
Yeah.
And I've never really seen that. And I really got to tell you, I find it's just, I already love the industry, and I love my job, and I love what I do. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been doing it for so long. But to see that makes me more excited about the prospects of the future of this industry.
Good.
And I really, really do appreciate it.
I'm glad. We've got some great professionals that are here. Commissioner Mulready is here from Oklahoma. Commissioner Cheney's here from Mississippi. Commissioner Donlan's here from Louisiana. Some of the veterans of the commissioner group. And so you've got a great group with you.
Excellent. Well, I got to tell you, Commissioner, it's been fantastic talking to you. And I really would thank you for your time, and good luck at the auction. Right?
Thank you. I appreciate that. We hope they raise a lot of money.
I hope so too. I hope so too. So,
thank you.
Well, gentlemen, you guys have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you later.
Okay. Thank you.